The next what-if analysis tool that we will be going over are data tables. And essentially, a data table is a range of cells that we can change the values of to come up with different answers to a problem. And for this example, we will be working inside the Data Table tab. So make sure that you have this sheet selected. And as you can see, this example is very similar to our Scenarios Manager example. With the Scenario Manager tool, we were able to change the distributor price for each part by assigning different values for these cells per scenario. Now, instead of those different values being inside the Scenario Manager tool, with data tables, our values are on the spreadsheet itself. And for our example, our goal is to be able to see what our profit would be if we changed the unit price. Well, we can do that by coming up to the price cell and changing this 200 to 205 or 210 and so on. But then we are wasting time having to manually enter these different values in this cell. Instead, we can use data tables. Now, if you use data tables, it's very important to know how to set up your data table correctly. So over here in our data table, we have the price column with all the different values that we want to insert into the price cell. And then in our next column, we'll show the outcome of our profit if we decide to use one of these prices. But for the first cell in our outcome column, we need to either enter a formula that will return our total profit, or we can just reference our profit cell in cell C6. You can choose to do either one, but for this example, I will type in the formula. So I'm going to type in the equal sign, and then click cell C4 for our total sales, minus C5 for our expenses, which will get us our profit. Now our data table is set up correctly, and we are ready to move on to the next step, which is selecting our table, then come up to the Data tab, select What If Analysis, and then click Data Table. Now, data tables are only limited to one or two variables. One for the row input cell, and then the other is the column input cell. And since we are only changing one variable, which is the price in the price column, we need to select the column input cell. And then from here, we can select the cell that we want to change, which is our price in cell C2. And if we click OK, now our data table shows us our profit for each one of these prices. And then if your goal was to make $2,600 worth of profit, we can change our price to 210. And now our profit is 2,600. So with data tables, it's very easy to see multiple outcomes by changing the value of a different cell. And with data tables, you can see the outcome for as many values as you want. So this price column can keep going on and on. Whereas the Scenario Manager, where we can change the values of these three cells, although you can have an unlimited amount of scenarios, Excel only allows us to have a maximum of 32 different values. But both of these tools can be very useful for different situations and still be able to change the values in cells to see how those changes will affect the outcome of formulas.